Imagine your car breaking down on a desolate road late at night. The engine sputters, failing in the midst of a winding stretch that skirts an ancient, dark forest. The silence is heavy, and every distant rustle deep in the woods carries a promise of undiscovered terror. In that chilling moment, an unsettling question takes hold: is salvation near, or is danger lurking in the shadows? Our traveler, weary and shrouded in uncertainty, stands beside a stalled vehicle under a slate sky. The landscape is barren except for the looming, twisted silhouettes of ancient trees whose gnarled branches seem to point accusatorily toward the heavens. A strange, eerie calm pervades the air as the traveler ponders their limited choices on this lonely road. The nocturnal mist weaves around the tires of the car, and each step feels like a plunge into the unknown. Unexpectedly, from the drifting darkness, emerges a solitary figure, a mysterious old man whose presence is both inviting and foreboding. His eyes, reflecting the dim glow of the distant horizon, seem to hold a secret pain and wisdom far beyond mortal years. He speaks in a voice that is soft and deliberate, offering shelter in a secluded cabin deep within the darkness of the forest. His offer glimmers like a beacon of hope amidst despair, yet something in his tone hints at ulterior, unspoken motives. With trepidation mingled with hope, our traveler accepts the invitation. The journey on foot becomes a descent into another realm entirely. The path winds through the dark forest where every crunch of a twig reverberates like a sinister whisper. The moon, obscured by rotten clouds, provides scant light as they follow the old man deeper into the labyrinth of ancient trees. The further they venture, the more the forest seems to come alive with menacing murmurs and shadowed watchfulness. At last, they arrive at the old man's cabin, a weathered structure set against the backdrop of storm-dark skies. The cabin's exterior, cloaked in ivy and thorns, exudes decay and secrets. The door creaks open with a reluctance that mirrors the traveler's own doubts. Inside, the flickering light of a solitary oil lamp casts irregular shadows along the creaky wooden floors, creating eerie patterns that dance upon the walls. Every element of the cabin speaks of neglect and time, a relic persevering in the heart of darkness. The traveler is greeted with an unsettling silence broken only by the whisper of the wind seeping through cracked windows. The cabin appears almost deserted, with only the presence of the old man and the faint hum of unseen activities. As the traveler moves cautiously from room to room, they notice small details that do not belong. A framed picture with an indistinct face, a clock that ticks irregularly, and a mirror that reflects more than just a solitary soul. The old man remains in the background, a shadow that blends with the dim light. His eyes watch the traveler's every move, yet his expression is inscrutable, offering no reassurance. As the night deepens, subtle phenomena begin to incite an overriding sense of dread. Faint whispers seem to emanate from hidden corners of the cabin, as if the walls themselves are sharing tragic secrets. The hum of life outside is silenced, leaving only the heavy thud of a heart beating in terrified isolation. In a quiet, tense dialogue that requires no words, the traveler feels the heavy weight of isolation, a loneliness that magnifies every creak, every sigh of the old structure. Memories of familiar comforts fade under the oppressive gloom, replaced by stark images of an inevitable, inexorable force waiting in the shadows. The traveler's initial hope for refuge slowly transforms into dread. As they explore further, every room reveals unsettling oddities. In one chamber, dusty relics whisper of past occupants long gone, their personal belongings arranged as if in silent vigil. In another corner, the air grows inexplicably cold, and a pervasive sense of watching eyes presses down with each passing moment. The significance of the old man's presence becomes increasingly ambiguous. His cryptic smiles and almost imperceptible shakes of the head hint at knowledge too terrible to articulate, as if he has borne witness to horrors that defy natural explanation. Then comes the turning point, the moment when the veneer of shelter shatters completely. In a narrow passage concealed behind heavy drapes, the traveler uncovers evidence of something far more sinister than mere neglect. Faded documents, esoteric symbols etched into the wood, and personal items belonging to unknown victims suddenly form a narrative of terror. The cabin itself pulses with an ancient malevolence, a reminder that the sinister history of these woods is not a mere myth but a lived, unfathomable reality. The old man, once a guide, now seems to embody that very darkness. His silence transforms into deliberate, slow movements that shift his face into something unrecognizable. Eyes that once hinted at wisdom now betray something predatory, as if every part of him has been reshaped by the supernatural forces that course through this cursed place. The traveler grasps the terrible truth: nothing here is as it seems. In a moment of desperate clarity, the traveler resolves to escape the tightening grip of the cabin's horror. The night, now swollen with sinister intent, sees a frantic bid for freedom. Every door becomes an obstacle, every window a deceptive promise. The shadows thicken, and the darkness swallows up corners of the room where the traveler had once found solace. The once inviting sanctuary now morphs into a stage for an unyielding nightmare. A crescendo of terror builds in an almost suffocating atmosphere. The traveler finds strength in the knowledge that isolation, however deep, can be surmounted by resilience, even as every instinct shouts to surrender to despair. The cabin, with its suffocating grip, forces them into a visceral struggle, a desperate fight to unlock the door of survival. Footsteps echo in the empty halls, staccato sounds of a heart falling into a rhythm of impending doom, as the traveler battles not only against the tangible walls of timber and stone but against the dark force residing within. A confrontation unfolds where the traveler, heart pounding with pure adrenaline, faces the old man in the dim circle of a flickering lamp. Words are unnecessary. In that space, fear and determination merge. Hope battles the residue of despair. The old man raises a trembling hand, the gesture both inviting and commanding, as if offering the traveler a choice between succumbing to madness or embracing a final, desperate act of resistance. Every second teeters on the edge of oblivion as the traveler realizes that the cabin has become the crucible of their own transformation. The haunting whispers grow into a cacophony of despair, and even the walls seem to pulse in time with their racing heart. In the dim, oppressive light, a climactic struggle erupts. The traveler lunges with a desperate resolve to shatter the cycle of terror and reclaim control of their destiny. Each blow, each frantic maneuver, reverberates as a cry for liberation from the ghostly tendrils that threaten to hold them captive. The room trembles with the impact of raw human emotion colliding with inexplicable evil. The air thickens, weighted with both sorrow and rage, as the traveler's fight for survival becomes a battle against the inherent darkness that had crept into every corner of their mind. As dawn edges slowly over the horizon, its first light filters through cracked windows with a fragile promise. In that tender glow, the remnants of fear begin to dissipate, revealing wounds both seen and unseen. The old man, now returned to the visage of a weary guardian rather than a malevolent force, fades into the background. The traveler, battered and forever changed, stands amid the debris of the night's horrors. The oppressive weight of isolation loosens its grip in the light of a new day. Yet, the memory of that relentless struggle and the whispers of the dark forest linger, etched into every scar and every trembling breath. In the final moments of this harrowing tale, the traveler reflects on the night of terrors, not as a memory tainted by horror, but as a testimony to the resilience of the human spirit. The cabin, the mysterious old man, and the ancient forest have all come together in a dark symphony of regret and revelation. Isolation had amplified every fear, yet in the crucible of despair, a spark of defiance had emerged. The night's events remind us that even in the depths of loneliness and terror, the will to survive burns brighter than the darkest of shadows. This tale is not merely a recounting of horrors encountered. It is a journey into the heart of isolation and the supernatural, a relentless reminder that every choice can lead to unforeseen consequences. The forest remains, ancient and indifferent, as a silent witness to the ephemeral nature of human hope. In the quiet aftermath, the lesson is clear. Sometimes, the offering of shelter may be a gateway to nightmares, and the unseen forces of the night have the power to transform fear into a raging battle for survival. Prepare to be immersed in a tale where isolation breeds terror, and survival is anything but guaranteed.